Let's go. Backpacking is pretty good for you. It's really easy to get out of the way because people have to get groceries anyway. And if you start carrying water with it, then you can prevent the only real issue you can get from it, which is spinal rigidity, which you can also get from the next thing I'm gonna rate. So we're gonna start off by putting backpack in B tier. Barbells, easy enough to use, accessible. I liked it, but it also causes spinal rigidity if done wrong, which you can't blame on the barbell. There are better ways to do it. So I might just put barbell in A tier. Next up, we got bag work. You already know bag work's going in S tier. You get your cardio, you get your strength training, even a bit of hypertrophy. All of your little stabilizer muscles get worked, which don't usually get worked when doing regular dumbbell stuff. So that's pretty useful. Now, calisthenics. This is another great one for working your stabilizers. And I'm tempted to put it up here with barbell, but it's accessible. And then once you get it started, you could really just do calisthenics and be fine. So I'm gonna put calisthenics in the A tier with barbells. And of course, there's no spinal rigidity, and that is true movement. Cycling. I used to do a ton of cycling. For like 2 years, I was on the bicycle nearly every day. And if you're losing weight, it's good. I crashed all the time. So that's a risk there. When you're taking a bicycle on the street, people don't quite care for you so much either. So I'm trying to put it down here with backpacking. It's nice, but really, what makes it so nice is you got other stuff to do anyway. Now we got dumbbells. Where to put dumbbells? S tier, easy. You don't have the same worries about spinal rigidity because most people aren't deadlifting more than 100-pound dumbbells in each hand. So 200 pounds, that's pretty, whatever you do, if you're doing it at 200 pounds, that's probably okay. A person can weigh 200 pounds. All right, now we have hiking. Hiking's fun. And it's, gotta put it in B tier again. These just getting around, moving around things. They're not super good for you. But they are good for you and they're necessary. I mean, maybe you gotta get to another town. Hike will get you there. Make you healthy too. You should do a hike every once in a while. Make sure you can. Next up, we got jogging. How do I feel about jogging? Doing like a 5K is brutal, but without jogging, you're just not making it that kind of a distance. Jogging really has, in part, replaced bicycling for me. And, you don't have to jog on the road. They make a sidewalk for you that's safe for a jogger, unlike a cyclist. So I think I'm going to put jogging in A tier. So sprinting really gets you in the same problem as bicycling does. And bicycling mitigates it by crashing, to be honest. So I guess not everyone gets the mitigation. But your bones grow softer, thinner, lighter, weaker. You don't want weak bones. What I drink all that milk for, my bone's going to be weak. But still, it's got to go in A tier because it's so healing for the muscles. Next up, let's do swimming. Swimming is easily... It's the best cardio. Like, as far as becoming better at cardio, you can't do better. But again, it has that limiting factor of your bones grow softer. You get lighter. Not good. Dense bones is what you want. You want those Wolverine bones. A good way of mitigating these issues, which you can with this, but you can't with this, or this, is shadow boxing. So shadow boxing is pretty much constantly available. It's pretty dang good for you. Good for your fascia. Yeah, I'm a big fan. But how good is it for cardio? For like actually having a better body as opposed to, being better at hurting people. For how do we define strength? Is it our vitality? Is it perhaps our ability to overcome our opponents? Because if we define strength as our ability to overcome our opponents, the martial arts in here is just going to be top tier and everything else has to be lower. So we can't define it that way. Movement. We're going to put it in B tier. It's good, but it doesn't have the same goodness. Now, I might get some pushback from this, but it doesn't have the same goodness as the Shaolin stance work, which I'm going to put in A tier. So this is really good for your fascia, shadow boxing is, and it'll make you stronger and more able to hurt people. But this works out your fascia, your rotational energy in the same kind of ways. When you're doing stance work, it's easy enough to throw some karate reverse punches or whatever you want to call them. And has kicks. It's more bladed for the most part, although there are squared up positions. And it's just so good at working the stabilizer muscles that I've talked about earlier that you can only really get from isometrics. Here we have Tai Chi. This tier list is about movement practices. And as far as Tai Chi goes, it's slow. It's accessible. But it doesn't give you any fast firing neurons. It makes you better at performing actions, and it can give you dexterity. But all that being said, you can get all that from all the other things for the most part. This is more martial arts drill at the end of the day. Walking's going in C tier. Do I even need to explain that? I mean, walking is barely exercise. People say, oh, that's cardio, or same calories burned, or whatever the heck. But you know what the point of doing cardio is. It's to make your heart and lungs stronger. And if your heart and lungs are getting stronger from simple, easy walks, then you need to do something more intense than simple, easy walks. Unless you're old, in which case, do some Tai Chi. Or some yoga, which I am going to put in the S tier as well. And that is because it allows muscle hypertrophy longitudinally, where this allows muscle hypertrophy latitudinally. Stabilizer muscles and your cardio would be good from bag work. Your hypertrophy and strength training would be just fine, and you could even work on positional strength. And then yoga, if you don't want to feel old, you got to be able to move. You got to have full range of motion, and then give yourself strength in those ranges of motion.